Hey Titans, welcome to this training. I'm happy to have you here, either live or on replay, doesn't really matter. This training is for everybody that is struggling or having doubts on their offer. And an offer, a great offer, is crucial for any type of business because if you have a great offer, even if you're not the best in sales, you will still be able to close a lot of deals. But if you're great at sales, but your offer is not up to par, then it will be more difficult than you think to get people on board with your uh, with your offer, with your business. So I want to explain in this video, in this training, I want to go through the 7 core pieces that we are using with Titanology for our Titan Hustler Academy, and which we also advise our students and everybody that I come in contact with. Basically, I really advise to use these kind of core pieces. Now, this is all not rocket science, but everything put together, even as simple as it might seem, putting it all together creates a Titan offer, or an offer that is really so good that people really tend to be very ready to buy once you go through everything, right? So, this is about your offer, how you can improve it, how you can create it, every single piece of it. This will be also a call to action for you because I'm going to show you a checklist, like a template that we have made for our academy, and which I will link into the comments afterwards. So if you want that one, just reach out to me, put something in the comments. If you're watching live, whoever is watching live, say hello in the comments. Let me know that you are here. And yeah, let's get this thing started. Um, where is my Canva board here? That's what I'm using for a presentation. Bear with me a little bit here. Okay, here we are. So, 7 pieces. These are the 7 pieces that I'm going to talk about. It's the big promise. It's your process. It's the core outcomes, the core price, bonuses, the guarantee, and downsell. This by all means, this is not everything that you should put into your offer, or you can even put more, you can put less. It's really all about making sure that your customer, your potential customers, feel so good with this offer that they will not have any kind of questions or even specific objections about what you have to offer, right? So if you put these core pieces into your offer, for sure this will work. All right, let's go through them one by one. First of all, the big promise. The big promise is something that you put together in a form like you put together your elevator pitch, but in a more condensed way, because this big promise is used to paint the picture of the future. Remember that visualization is a big thing for your for getting your customer excited what you have to offer. If you're not able to really make them think about what is possible with your service, with your product, then again it's going to be hard to make them do the investment, the emotional investment, the monetary investment within this offer, right? So the big promise is what you will start with. You're going to talk about this and you're going to be so confident about this big promise that they will feel that. That is very important. You need to make sure that you are confident with delivering this big promise. So, for example, this can be about, let's say that you're doing web design. You create new websites, you redesign websites for companies. So a big promise can be, well, within 1 month, we are going to deliver a high design, like a beautiful designed website. But the outcome is here, like within 1 month, you're going to get a website that is going to attract double the amount of leads within 1 month, right? Without you having to put or to lift one finger, could be, right? Because companies don't have time to really go into the deep with building websites or whatnot. They are doing other things, right? So another thing could be, right, with this program, you're going to get double the amount of leads and double the amount of sales within 6 months, for example, without overwhelm and without anxiety, for example, right? Those are the kind of big promises that you need to put in there. And then you can start to break it down within your offer. But paint the picture first. Paint a picture of the future, the awesome future that you can deliver with your program, with your product, with your service. All right. That is piece number one. Then, once you have delivered your big promise, you need to talk about, yeah, but how are we going to deliver that? What is the exact process? And the process should be high level, right? Nobody cares about the details, especially if they do not know you yet, they do not know your program yet. They don't care how many templates that you have or what kind of specific process that you have to build a website. What are the steps? What kind of information do you need from them? All of that information, they don't care, right? You need to make sure that they just have a sense of the high level process, that they can see within 3 steps, basically show them 3 steps that they have to go through to get the outcomes, right? Uh, that is something that you put into the process right here. So this could be a process for web design. Could be you have to give us an overview of the content, for example. Then the next step, we will design. We will make 2 designs, for example, within 2 weeks. And then at the end of the month, we will do a review and you get your website. Pretty simple, right? I'm just making this up. So by all means, don't just copy this, but you get the point that if you make it high level, it's easy to understand. Because if it's difficult to understand, you will start confusing your potential customer. And that's the last thing that you want. You should avoid raising more questions than they already would have. With presenting your offer, within your offer, you need to make it so clear what they can get from it that they don't have the questions anymore. And again, the details, you will talk with them about that once they get on board, right? And even if you think, yeah, but I don't really have the details yet about my product, about my service, that's fine. Think about first. They need to know about what is the outcome, what is the big promise, how do I get there? And the person that is talking to me right now is going to get me there. So I am the person that is presenting the offer. So they need to have a feeling that I am the one that will be able to deliver through that process, through the big promise. All right. So that is number 2. Then we talk about core outcomes. Um, like with the big promise. With the big promise, you already talk about some of the outcomes in the first step, but you need to show more. Of course, it's not so much about the first big promise, and that will get them on board, or if they are on the fence, that will make them decide, yeah, this is what I need. No, you need to do more of that. You need to say what are the outcomes, the big outcomes that you will be delivering. List the 3 most important outcomes that you will provide and communicate within these core outcomes piece by piece. So if you say an outcome can be, yeah, I'm going to give you double the amount of leads, but then you also have to say, how will it solve their problem actually, right? So you could say, okay, I'm going to give you a website that is so fast that it will be ranked higher, or we do SEO, and within 1 or 2 months, you're going to be in the first page of Google. That can be a core outcome of your service, for example. Now, how will it solve that problem? What is that problem? You need to know this. If you're talking to your ideal customer, you already know this through your research. So within these core outcomes, you need to connect this or relate this with their problem, and you need to show how it will solve their problem. So if you're saying like, yeah, we're going to do SEO optimization, and within 2 months you're going to be on page number 1, so that you're going to get double the amount of leads, because your big problem was lead generation. You didn't get enough through your website. So that is solving that problem with one of the core outcomes. All right. In how much time is also important. So within 2 months, for example, and what their effort and sacrifice will be. This is also an important one, because if you can show that your outcome is something that they need to solve their problem in less time that they would imagine, and also with less effort or sacrifice from them, that's a huge one. That's a huge one. So if you can say, yeah, you don't have to lift a finger, we do it for you, that's a huge one, right? So do that. Put that for each outcome. So each outcome needs to be related to your problem, needs to tell the customer what in what time and what their sacrifice or effort would be. All right. And if you think about this, this is more or less like the big promise. So if we go back and we look at the big promise, so you design something like this in a sentence, right? And you do this 3 times for your core outcomes, right? Don't just copy the big promise, right? Remember, the more that you can add to your offer, the more that you can stack your offer with some of these core outcomes, the better it is. But don't put too much, because again, you will confuse your potential customer. So the more that you add in here, the more customer, they will not remember, right? So usually people remember up to 3 things. So don't make more, right? It just, they will not remember. So you're just wasting your time there. Okay. Core price, core outcomes, core price. So the core price, once you have talked about your core outcomes, you have to talk about your price. You have to add your price to your offer. Now, how do you come up with a good price for whatever you're doing? This is where you take a look at and think about what would the cost be for your potential customer of not going with you, right? Of not doing the program, of not doing the service. What would it cost them if they would not do it? And that already gives you a sense of what you could ask. So if you have like an example would be, well, in terms of the website design. So if you would be able to have a website that ranks high on Google and you get double the amount of leads, which means if you have a good sales team, you would double the amount of sales. And if one sale relates to, let's say, 10K, right? $10,000. Then if you wouldn't do it, you would actually lose $10,000. Now, that is pretty simplified here, but you know what I mean. So do this kind of calculation for your offer, for your product, your service, whatever you do. And if you come up with that, this will be the greatest tool that you have to almost prove the ROI, the return on investment for your customer, right? Because if they do it, they will be able to gain that amount, the 10K, for example. And your price could be, well, it's going to be 5K for redesigning your website. So, I mean, you're just giving them 10K and you get 5K, or the other way around. They give you 5K and you're actually giving them 10K. So they have like the best ROI as possible, right? And that's how you need to come up with a price that makes sense. And it doesn't have to be on the low end. Competing on price is the last thing you should do, right? Do not create a commodity of your offer. Because if you're competing on price, it's a race to the bottom. And if you don't have any profit left, any margin, how on earth will you build a bigger business, right? So don't do that. Make sure that it makes sense in terms of delivery, in terms of profit wise as well. So you can actually reinvest that into building a bigger business, right? Then a big one as well. Once you have talked about the price, you need to show bonuses. Bonuses are the best way to enhance your offer so that the initial price, like the 5K, for example, is almost cheap compared to the bonuses that you add to your offer, right? So if you stack your offer with extras that together are worth more than the core offer price, that's a huge one. And I mean, bonuses by itself can be really easy to add, can be templates, can be an extra session that you deliver, can be an extra tool, extra hosting, extra hours, whatever it is, something that is easy for you to fulfill, that doesn't require you to add much more work or much more cost to your delivery as well. Think about that as well. So if you have templates, videos, discounts even, discounts is also a good piece, add them to your offer and show them piece by piece to your potential customer. Add a price to that, add a price tag to each bonus, and make sure that in total, your bonuses are worth more than your actual price. Again, you need to make that contrast between the amount that you're asking and what they would get extra for that price. That by itself is something that a lot of customers like. I mean, who doesn't like bonuses, right? And if they, again, make sure that they help with achieving the outcomes, maybe faster, maybe easier, right? So it requires less effort, or they get something that they otherwise would not get within a program or within a service like that. Even within your products, you can add bonuses to that as well. So it becomes really, really obvious that the actual price is not that much, right? So think about the bonuses, list them out, and see what you can come up with. Then at the end, a strong guarantee will reverse the risk for your potential customer. This is a big tool within your offer building that you can use to get people across the line, because many potential customers will have objections, will need to think about it, or will not trust you. So how do you reverse that? How do you make sure that even if they don't really trust you, that they are still feeling comfortable to getting on board with you? That's where you need to show them that you're putting your skin in the game as well, by creating a guarantee that in the end, if they don't like what you're doing, it won't cost them, right? There are different types of guarantees, but one of the strongest ones is, for example, a 30-day money back guarantee. If you're not feeling comfortable, if it doesn't get you the results or whatever, then we give you your money back, for example, right? So that is a strong guarantee, because it means that even maybe they don't trust you and they want to test out what you're doing. This is a great way to get people on board and to show and to prove them that you're actually legit and that you actually can deliver what you're talking about. And usually that will be enough to get them on board. And once you get them on board, of course, you need to provide something that is decent enough. Otherwise, you will get into trouble. But I'm guessing that everybody that's watching this video is delivering a good service, a good product, a good program, so that won't be needed. Another one that you can do, a really strong one, that we use as well, is if you do not get the amount or the outcome that we talked about in a big promise, if you do not reach that in that amount of time that we talked about, we are going to work for you for free until you get that outcome. That's a huge one. That's a big one that you can use. And it again shows that you're not really in it for the quick buck, right? You're in it to make the promise stick and make sure that they get the results that you told them that they would get, right? And it's up to you as the service provider, as a consultant, or um, even as the store, if you want, to deliver on that promise. A good guarantee and even stacking guarantees can make a huge difference in closing a sale or not, right? And these guarantees can be in any type of form. Again, can be put on your website even. It's always a good idea to tell already people how invested you are in the success of your potential customers. The only thing that you shouldn't put on your website, unless you're an e-commerce store, is your prices. So, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, one last thing, because this is number 6. One last thing that I would definitely add into an offer or would think about, not something that you necessarily need to show, but something you need to think about, something you need to keep back in your back pocket if you would need it, is a downsell. If you have a high ticket program, a service, a product, and they're not really ready yet, then it might be a good idea to offer them something smaller so you already get that kind of commitment from them. And once you get that commitment, a smaller commitment from them, they are already in your ecosystem. And that's where you want to get them. That's where you want to have them. Once they did that, the likelihood that they do another commitment with you is much, much, much higher than if they would just say, it's not for me. Okay, let's talk about it maybe in a few weeks. Well, there is no commitment there at all. So if you want to reactivate those kind of leads within 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be much harder, much more effort to do that than if they already had something like maybe a small session, maybe a free ebook even, or a sample product or whatever it is, but something that they need to commit to. Even if it's free, giving you their email address, even if it's $5, for example, as long as there is some kind of commitment, that's a good way to do this, right? There are other ways to downsell or to make it work for your potential customers, but this is also when we go deeper and deeper in your specific offer, right? So yeah, these are the core pieces that we advise our students to get into their offer. So eventually, if you do it right, you're gonna make people an offer so good that they would feel stupid for saying no to your offer, right? Because all the bonuses, all the guarantees, if you make a big promise and you're really confident about it, what you're doing, I mean, why would they not jump on board with you? And you could say price, but honestly, price is not usually not the objection by itself, because everybody can get money and money is abundant, and you can get money everywhere. You can borrow money, you can use a credit card, you can do a lot of things. So usually it's not a price, but usually it's because they don't trust you. They don't see how you can deliver on the promise that you made. They don't see how long it will take, what they will need to do. So this is your job. But then we are talking about sales conversation, how you can make sure that the questions that they have, that they are already resolved when you're presenting your offer. That is the big key here. Because the more that you can already squash the objection that they would have by showing this offer, the easier it becomes at the end to close them, right? And again, even if they're not ready at any point at the end, you still have the downsell option to get that kind of commitment that you would need from them. Okay. So, what to do next? Put it in a pitch deck. Like what I'm showing here is a presentation. So, you can do this in Canva, you can do it in PowerPoint, but put it in a pitch deck so it becomes tangible, right? It helps by putting it all down on paper so you can go through it. You can test it out. You can just have a call with a friend and just go through the pitch, through the offer, and see if it makes sense for you and for them, right? Test it out. Don't be afraid of testing it out on the same audience as well. As long as people are interested, you can keep reaching out to them and presenting an offer, right? And it's not really visible right here. Wait, I'll remove myself. So yeah, then adjust and try again. With the feedback you get, improve it and get out there again. Big one as well. Don't stop reaching out to people with this offer, right? The more that you talk about it, the more you will get the necessary feedback to improve it. And the better it becomes, again, the better and easier it becomes to convince people to get on board with you. All right. So those are the pieces about building a core, building a Titan offer. And we have a small template for that, which I will show right now if I can get my iPad here. So let's see if I can do this. I can do this, and then I can share another screen. Here it is. There we go. Hope you can see this well enough. Okay. Show myself here. So this is the checklist that we have created. It's a bit of a template which has all these pieces which you can use to brainstorm, right? The big promise is in here. You can put your process. So again, where is my, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Don't make it too complicated. You got your big promise here. You got your outcomes. 1, 2, 3. 3 outcomes. Boom. Right? Start with that. Price. Put your price. Put your bonuses. Okay, this might be a little bit too small for all your bonuses, but just start brainstorming. Create more templates for all that thing, or just put it in an Excel sheet or put it in a PowerPoint again. It's really all about brainstorming, making sure that you make a first draft, talk about it with your coach, talk about it with people within your network, and improve it, right? And these are the pieces. Start with that. There is much more to say about offer building, and we can go much deeper in each of those pieces, but start with this, go out there, start talking to people and see what they say. Test it out, right? There is nothing stopping you from testing it out. And if it works, the worst thing that can happen is you don't have a customer, and the best thing that you can happen is that you will get a customer. How great is that, right? So try it out. Let me know if you would like to have this template. Reach out to me. Go to titanology.world as well. Right here at the bottom, titanology.world. Join our community. Join the Titans within our LGBTQ plus community. Business owners are gathering within Titanology. And if you would want help, if you want help with building your offer, going into the details piece by piece, then we have the Titan Hustler Academy, which I have been talking about as well, where this is a 6-month program where we get your business up and running as soon as possible. And then there is big outcome, there is a process, there is a price, of course, bonuses guaranteed, and I will show you what our offer is for the Titan Hustler Academy, how I design it, and then you get already a first-hand experience on how a Titan offer can look like. All right. So go to titanology.world, join the Titans, and I want to thank everybody who joined this live training. I will try to do this more and more and more every single week because there's so much more to talk about if we're talking about business building. Anybody that is watching right now, if you have any questions, just put them in comments and I'll see if I can answer them. And if not, I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure to go to titanology.world, reach out to me, and I will be sure to help you out. All right? Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great evening, and I'll see you soon.